Hey, Bill.
Hi, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I was just about to ask, who else is in the room here?
Can you see me over here?
No. No, I think the video is only off the laptop. You need to get one.
So we could bring this meeting to order a little bit ahead of schedule so we're ready for them, Bill, if that's okay?
Yeah, I think Andy's just running this here, so.
Okay, so we're gonna bring this
Just getting on, should have the others coming soon, I think.
Hermosa Town Board special meeting to order at 1:59. It's the special meeting Monday, May 9th at 2022. And I do remind everybody, please, that we are on the Zoom deal, so we want to keep it kind of quiet if we can and let them have where the floor will be here and situated out and any questions that we have within the board and kind of see where we go from there with the A&R and then Bill Lass from Black Hills Council of Local Government. With that being said, roll call Hendrickson.
Here.
Holzhorst here. Kramer.
Here.
Schumach.
Here.
Thank you. Acknowledgement of all the other attendees. We appreciate everybody being here. And Gail will write everything down. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. We have no consent calendar. The item number A under number 4 is the South Dakota DA&R Water Facility Plan deferment discussion we're going to have. And once they tie in, then we'll have Bill Lass here and we'll go through the formalities. Bill, ACES has kind of combined a spreadsheet that we have in effect on it, on numbers, in calculation of what it would be if we were to have received 80% loan grant. And then we've also calculated ourselves if it was a 30% and what we'd be at in our present user rate versus what we would have had we done the regionalization, and then a little bit of the comparison that we would have that we went into the Hillenbrand systems and what we did with our WRT and with the funding being proposed and accepted by Custer County Commissioners for that part of it and was removed. And I'm going to give him probably a little bit of the information of when we were with First Interstate and when we reached out to other engineering firms and how much and how hard we worked to cut this in half with our taxpayers and basically cut this project down to 50%. We took over $3 million off the project. And then likewise on Lagoon and wastewater project, we cut that down over $1.2 million, I believe it was, closer to $2 million on that one. Mm-hmm. So we've actually cut over $5 million, almost $6 million off of it and doing our hard work on everything to put this all together in our presence of our new facility plan. So we'll discuss all of that at that presence. So looks like Mike, I see Mike's on there.
I think we probably have everybody, I believe, who is going to join.
Can you hear us all right, Mike? Can you hear you, Bill?
I can hear you, Dan.
How about
I can
Mike?
hear you, Dan.
Andy, you're on?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear Andy. How about Mike?
Yeah.
Are you on, Mike?
Abby?
I am also on, Abby, and I can hear you guys fine, so maybe just be a one-off thing. I
Yeah.
can hear you okay.
Okay. Mike's having a couple technical difficulties. You might have to try again or Pulse might have to join me here, so we'll give him just a minute.
Okay, sounds good.
Can you hand me my drink, please, Linda? Thank you.
Borrow this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey Mike, can you hear us yet? Are you connected?
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go see if I can hold him quick, and if not, we'll try and get together in my space.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Connecting to audio. Yeah.
I think might have figured it out. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, there you are.
All right.
And I think Andy's on his way over to your office.
Yeah, well, probably.
All right, I'm back now. I heard Mike say he got it.
Okay, well, maybe before we get going, Dan, could you just tell us, it sounds like you got your board together for a special meeting here?
Yep, it's good to see you and hear you, Mike and Andy. I appreciate you setting this meeting up for us today and going through it. I have all my board members and our finance officer here in discussion of this, and so we can kind of go through it and kind of, I guess, number one in all the years that we've been involved, of course, is why the deferral, and then kind of go into our subject and discussion from there if we could, please.
Well, this is Andy. I guess the deferral and, the recommendation against funding this project utilizing ARPA is because this project does not achieve regionalization. You have an offer from Southern Black Hills that would keep rates very reasonable for a $1 million or less capital cost to connect to them. And we believe that should be utilized and have the town no longer be responsible for supplying their own water source. That's been kind of where we've been at for many years, that we've encouraged the town to look to Southern Black Hills for a water source. Southern Black Hills has been willing and offered that connection, and we believe that would be in the best interest for the community as well as the best use of state funding for this project.
Okay, and I guess my question is, we've of course got all the numbers in front of us, Andy. I know back when you were here, when we were finishing up our project on as far as the well rehab project up there, and the facility plan that you judged and looked at that time was from First Interstate Engineering, and what was presented by Mr. Bangs at that time, and what we had looked at and discussed with you that day when you were here in the meeting, of the differences that we had and the comparisons that we made. At that point they were offering us 1 million gallons of water at $4,000 per month. Anything over that would be the $4 per thousand after. And we of course looked at the comparisons at that time with the Hillenbrand system. We looked at blending the water, We looked at the WRT, we looked at the regionalization or connection with Hermosa water users, and then we looked at the new well. And at that time, and all of them costs at that time when you were here, you know, we were at a $10 million project. Actually a little higher than that, it was closer to 12, but once we then put it out to re-look at the other engineers and bid this again, we cut that project by $6 million in between what we had with Gumbo Lily expansion as well as what we did with the new well. And we were at a very comfortable number there. And when we looked at the user fees of what we had with Southern Black Hills Water at that time, we were roughly going to be with that $4,000 per month, $1 million, with $4 per thousand, which there's many months that we'll use $1.5 million, $1.8 million. Well, that would put us at roughly $2,000 to $3,000 a month, which would add another $8.26, give or take, at 500,000 gallons more per month, along with what they were offering with their monthly fee, which was going to be roughly $55, I believe, at that time for what we were looking at for that regionalization. So when we plugged them numbers in versus the new numbers of the well and what ACES had come up with on that situation, we were actually going to be with our sewer project or our water project, if we were to get 30% with our combined water usage now at $60. And with what we would have been at with Southern Black Hills Water at the $55, and then if we put our present rate on top of that at 31, that puts us at $81 for that. And then if you added the $8.26 in the summertime when we're using more than that 1 million gallon usage, well then you're putting another, you know, close to $90 on what we would be paying a month. Also in that Southern Black Hills Water, when we were looking at that, it was going to be a $250,000 tap fee for us to tap onto their system. And at that presence, they also wanted us to bore the highway. They weren't going to do it at that time. I know they realized, and they've changed that when we went to the commissioners for the WRT system to ask for the monies from them on that aspect of it. They also went in and tried to qualify for that same monies of the 500,000.
Would you?
I'm sorry, are you okay, Mike?
Yeah, I'm okay. I had somebody stop me.
I'm sorry. So with that aspect of where we were at with that, with the 500,000 that they tried to achieve, they said they would bore the highway at that time and also put their infrastructure in, still be remaining at the same cost. Well, when we lowered our fee even more by Custer County Commissioners saying they would put their ARPA money that they had that was available for us for the WRT, that actually lowered our total project cost down even more. And we thought with our willingness to work this hard to do our portion of the projects, lowering the cost, keeping our citizens' user rates down as reasonable as we could, would make a big difference. And I think that's our big thing is, you know, all as we've always wanted with Hermosa is allowing it to grow and be able to do our main infrastructure within the community, and also at the same time apply for our citizens to keep it at a moderate rate. And with what we've applied here, what we've put together, we are by far underneath of them. And that doesn't mention that after 5 years in their original contract, they would go up 5% per every year after 5 years.
It would not be a 5%. Dan, it's not a 5%. It is after 5 years, it goes up to CPI index.
See, and they told us in their original contract it was a 5%, is what we had in black and white on their paperwork from that original contract.
Black and white on that last one was it was based on the CPI, which fluctuates year to year. It may be 5%, but that would be on the high side for most years from what I've seen. You know, we had, Leah sent us something on a review of the cost per thousand for each of the alternatives out there. And Southern Black Hills cost per thousand is $14.60. A new well is $21.52. The WRT was $15.16. And that includes, you know, the capital costs on things. When we look at the capital cost to connect to the Southern Black Hills, I have, you know, the county, I feel, would probably likely still be willing to look at putting their money towards that project. I know we would be willing at looking to match the county's money on that project to connect to Southern Black Hills. So now your capital cost is basically gone, and you're paying on average per user of $15.75 per month for 4,000 gallons of water with your current number of users. That's at the 4,000 per 1,000,000 gallons. With an additional $4 per thousand after that, you'd have $19.75 for 5,000 gallons to purchase water from Southern Black Hills. Your current rates are $39. If we did a loan, and there could be some adjustment in this for the Gumbo Lily portion of that project, that's about $580. That would be $60.55. You know, we think on top of this though, that the city's rate can lower due to you no longer operating your own wells and those costs. And that showed out in your engineering report that you know, there would be a reduction in O&M of maybe $5 to $10 per user per month. So your total rates, you're talking in the $50 to $55 per month for 5,000 gallons. If we can get the capital costs taken care of between county and state ARPA money.
So were them costs off of the First Interstate or off of bases?
That's off of bases.
Off the electricity cost. So then with your approving Southern Black Hills Water on that extension for the Spring Creek extension, and that approval now is at $126 for 7,000 gallons for anybody hooking up to that line. So does that mean then that we wouldn't apply on that aspect?
No, you wouldn't. Your existing city of Hermosa users, no. You would be part of your charge from Southern Black Hills is whatever that initial capital cost to connect to them is, and then 1,000,000 gallons for $4,000 a month, and $4 after that. That $126 a month is what they charge their individual rural household users. The town of Hermosa users would not be considered part of that class of users.
So Andy, this is Leah with ACES. My question on that is, how can, you know, DANR approve, you know, a project and a loan grant, you know, concept, I guess, just like any other town, and their current rate is listed as $126. How can they not charge that to every user?
Your Hermosa's users are not users of Southern Black Hills individually. The town of Hermosa is a bulk user. We have this all across the state where communities have bulk usage rates from a rural water system. Their users, the town is charged $4,000 for 1,000,000 gallons in this instance, and there is no additional charge to the town users from that rural water system. all the town and their users are responsible for is that fee. Those other, Hermosa's users and cost to provide service was not part of any, calculation for Southern Black Hills. The only benefit would be they may be able to, instead of raising the rates to $126 per user for the rest of their users, maybe they'd be able to keep it at $125 with the extra $4,000 a month coming from the town. I don't know the numbers, but it would be additional revenue that they could use for debt that they have. Most of the revenue, though, I assume would probably just go to service for the town. Those are things I don't know, but that's how this works. There's no, when a town hooks up as a bulk user, there's no individual charges to those customers. They're still your users. You set what their charges are. You wouldn't have to charge them $4 per thousand. That'd be your choice as a town as to how you generate the income to pay Southern Black Hills for the cost of the water that the citizens are using.
I guess that just doesn't seem right that, the town of Hermosa, has already decided that they do not want to regionalize due to that they've seen a community or a local subdivision adjacent to the town connect to Southern Black Hills Water, and their rates have just fluctuated and become almost, not even possible for the people living out there. And if the town of Hermosa would be eligible for the 80% grant that they are listed at, even, a portion of that being grant, the monthly increase would, bring them under $40 a month to remain independent and growing.
So I don't know where $40 a month, under $40 a month can come from when they're already at $39 just to operate their existing. You're adding capital cost and you're adding treatment cost.
The current rate's
system.
31 right now, and so if they were eligible for 80% grant for the new well, the WRT already being covered, and then Gumbo Lily, our additional user rate is only $8.29 a month, which would bring the new user rate for water to $39.29.
So one, what was shown to us was a current user rate of $39. Two, you would not see 80% if you were at $39. The only way anybody sees above 30% in the ARPA grant criteria is if your rates will be at $55 or above.
So even at 30% though, that would bring what, the new user rate to 60?
You gotta remember, you guys are talking about different gallons.
Right.
You're talking 3,000 gallons at $31. They're talking 39.
I'm talking about 5,000
Right,
gallons.
right.
Yep,
That's the number we
sorry,
use.
I was looking at the current user, which is 3,000 for the
Yeah.
town.
Mm-hmm.
But even at a 30% grant, our user rate would go up to around 60. And when we looked
It
at
really
the
goes
Southern
back
Black Hills
to the
water,
fact
it
that-
was, 70 in the facilities plan based on what they had proposed.
When we look at the numbers, Southern Black Hills cost shows, and what you've sent to us, Leah, shows that Southern Black Hills cost per thousand is the lowest cost option without factoring out, taking out new debt. When we look at that, that's cost-effective regionalization. That is something we have long encouraged, our board has long encouraged, and quite frankly, we included in the ARPA grant law criteria that projects that do not promote cost-effective regionalization are not eligible for these funds.
And I think the other hard part too, Andy, what we discussed that day is that, you know, paying back our debts that we already have. I mean, water sewer is our main source that we have for repaying debt. And of course, we know there will be no forgiveness on that. We'll be paying them debts. So this takes away from a big cut of what we're doing on our debt repayment also. And the other aspect is, you know, when we originally looked at this with Southern Black Hills Water, we looked at them and gave them our facility report to look at doing a deeper well when they did it, if they were going to do it for more longevity. And with what was brought up with us and having our lower well has been good on the radium. The upper well, of course, was higher on the radium. And they're also in Yacara, which is a situation where I fully feel they're going to run into that same experience. And it was questioned then in a meeting, not involved here, of course, but that if they hit radium, what will the consequences be there? They're serving a housing development now with Paramount Point, and as what was mentioned, every time, like they added a generator, for example, their user rate went up for that. If they were to have to treat or set for radium, that user rate's also gonna go up, which is understandable. We understand that as what we are with our WRT. But the thing is that we will still want to use our wells because of the user fee. And we, many times, as I express, use $1.2 million, $5 million, $8 million in the summer. You know, we've got to try to be as conservative as we can too for debt repayment. So with us in the future of where we're at with development consequences coming at us, we wanted to be prepared with our own deep well and then also for the citizens of the area. Now, if the radium is a problem with them over there, there are gonna be consequences where they're going to have to drill another deep well. And we know user fees will go up even more on circumstances like that. It just takes our ability to be independent away. And I get the regionalization, but we also, I feel, work very hard to demonstrate our abilities to cut the costs, show the budget numbers, be smart business people about it, and protect our seniors as well as our users in our community. So.
You know, Dan, I don't think I'm gonna have an answer that, you know, you're gonna like, because the regionalization is where we see the most cost effectiveness to serve the town of Hermosa and your existing users. Southern Black Hills is, you know, set up to be a regional water supplier outside of the area, and that's a system that we think is the right way to do more regional and future expansion. From the perspective of, you know, you wanting to run your own wells, there's nothing that stops you from doing that if you choose to. You may be able to blend your own wells in with Southern Black Hills water and still be under the MCL. You're gonna have a million gallon, $4,000 per month charge minimum, but I do not believe that contract precludes you from using your own water to supplement above and beyond that.
Hey, Andy, just question for you, because I want to make sure I'm understanding things correctly, but DANR's recommendation is not, I mean, you're not taking the position that the town cannot do the well option. You're just saying that you are not going to recommend putting in any grant dollars into that. But if the town makes that final decision, then loan funding would be available. Do I have that correct?
Correct, yes. We, based on what we have reviewed, what's been presented to us, the history of being involved in this, we would not recommend putting grant funding into this project because it goes against the cost-effective regionalization. However, if the community wants to move forward with the project as proposed and is willing to accept a loan for it and take the necessary steps to raise your rates to secure that loan, we would provide loan funds if that's the desire.
Yeah, I think that's an important point for the town to know that the DANR is not mandating what project alternative that you pursue. They're just providing, according to their criteria, they're not going to recommend any grant funds unless you go with the most cost-efficient alternative.
Thank you, Bill. And I think that's something that we're gonna have to definitely discuss, too, Andy. It's very heartbreaking that, when we originally, talked with Southern Black Hills Water 15 years ago, I believe was when that was originally, it was for the blighted rural areas. And I got that for Argyle and for the people out on the prairie that didn't have the option of water. And that was a great circumstance on that part of it, where we've always had water here and the abilities to get water where they didn't. And I guess that's always kind of been the great American way, is to be able to make our own choices of, for our community, for our residents, and just want to provide better for them. Not be having that opportunity taken away from us. And DANR has been the best tool, our greatest tool for making that all come about. And that's why it's so difficult for us. Had it been back in '07 when the flood hit us and we wouldn't have had them difficulties as what we did and slowed us in being able to move forward, I feel we would have had that Madison well in place and we would have been going forward on that. But them circumstances have transpired, our times have transpired, and I feel as far as Southern Black Hills Water, how far they bounced ahead of where they were, kind of to me is a reflection of the development in the area, that it's a better circumstance for them on that situation also, which provides a better availability for the organization. With us, we've always felt secure, and with the state law that we had a 3-mile limit to be able to grow and expand within ourselves, which that is still the case. As always in a small town, you struggle with finances and making sure you do the steps in the right format and protect your tax dollars as you're going. So we're really hoping we had a good option on this to be able to do that for our citizens and the excitement to move forward with that. So. When will you meet again on this, when we get back to you, Andy and Mike?
So our next board meeting is scheduled for June 23rd. We would need to take some sort of action to the board, and they will have to take action at that time, because our rules allow us to defer an application from funding action like we did in April, but only for 120 days. And June would be kind of the last meeting that we have scheduled within that time period. So at that point in time, we would, well, not at that time, we really need to know, early June, what the town's proposed, way to move forward is. If be that connection to Southern Black Hills, withdrawal of the application, requesting the current proposed application. I mean, we've been pretty honest with you what our recommendations would be and where we think things would be at because of that. And so I think it's kind of up to you guys to make some decisions on how you want to move forward.
As we put the numbers in the application together then, Andy, will we have an opportunity for a presentation again with the board at that June 23rd meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions from the board members? For Andy or Mike or Bill? And so what we'll do is we'll put this together then and be in touch with you, Bill, of course, and then submit paperwork back to you, Andy and Mike, and get everything in presentation form prior and plenty of time before the June 23rd meeting.
Sorry, I was muted. I guess that's a good question. Andy, what format do you want a final decision from the community? Letter or revised application pages, or what do you need?
Well, I think it depends on what the final decision is from the city. You know, if they're going to move forward with the currently proposed project, then I think a letter indicating that would be good just for us to have. If they're going to make a change to the, you know, request, be that either pulling it back or connection to the Southern Black Hills option, and that change obviously is going to change the cost, we would want to see revised application pages and associated information that goes with that. Likely have to have the public hearing redone at a certain point, but that would not have to be done prior to the board meeting.
Right, okay. That makes sense.
Anything else from those of us from DNR?
No, I believe we've got it all. I appreciate both your times today, and we'll be back in touch.
All right, thank you, Dan, and the rest of the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Bill. We'll talk to you soon.
Well, yeah, thanks.
Okay. So what we'll have to do is go back through, re-plug the numbers. You know, I guess when I read the facilities report you had and what we put together, them numbers didn't line up with his numbers and what they were. I think that what we'll do is we'll go back through that facility report, re-look at our numbers, put our numbers together on a spreadsheet, prepare them for next meeting, and we can go over them next meeting, make sure that everybody's clear, and then what your options are. Everybody's well aware of it, what we have in front of us, and what we need to look at. It's a lot of big decision making on that. I also think we need to pull that original agreement out from Southern Black Hills Water, because they didn't mention the $250,000 tap fee. Andy never did touch on that we'd have. And then there was still the added construction costs to bring the line to our tower. That was not discussed either by him. When we looked at what we were going to be doing and that extra cost itself, we were in that $300,000 to $500,000 more on that. I think when Bernie was here and we plugged the numbers together, there was over $500,000 there alone that wasn't taken into effect, that was gonna be out of our pocket. And, so,
Did I hear though that there's a possibility of them helping us with that?
Yeah.
well, and that's the only, they meet the ARPA money, but they didn't say anything about helping us on that. They'd match the $500,000 WRT money if we went back to Custer County Commissioners and asked that we now don't use that for the WRT, but we actually use it for the Southern Black Hills Water Project. That's what they want. And then they would match that. So then that infrastructure money would be matched to do our project here, what we have.
Okay.
The problem that we've talked about over and over about that, it takes our abilities for our other well to be used. If we want to keep our monies down as far as going over that 1,000,000 gallons and use our wells and have the 2 wells operational, functional, if they go down on their well, you know, that's what they want is us for our backup too. So I fully feel we want to do the WRT and protect our upper well and have that system in place still, since especially we've had the 500,000 given to us by the commissioners on the ARPA money.
For WRT.
Correct.
I have a couple things, and I thought I also understood that we could still use our own well if we went over the,
We can.
if we went over the.
Right.
Yeah, we can.
So then the other thing that I think has been confusing, and I'm not sure if this is, everybody's thinking this or it's just me, but we've been kind of, I think, living off of the $126 a user, and he just said that is not gonna happen to us. That's not gonna be the 126.
Right.
So it's, whereas I think that's what we've all been kind of getting, was our users were gonna have to have a $126 water bill.
Well, it was the 55 user rate we originally used that they were gonna have plus our rate. So they were gonna be at $81. That was originally. When they figured out what we were gonna have for their user rate at that $1 million for 1,000,000 gallons for $4,000. We were gonna be at a $55 rate with Southern Black Hills Water, is where they came out with their original paperwork. So then with that, and then what we figured for the extra 500,000 gallons we just used for an average in the summer was another $8. So we were gonna be at $63 plus our $31 we're paying right now. So we were gonna be at $91 is what we originally figured on all our numbers. Versus if we went with our program with the well, as what Lee has demonstrated, we would have been at $60 total for our customers. With the new well, with the gumbo lily, doing all of our projections that we wanted to do, was what we had originally figured.
But now that's all moot, because we're gonna have to decide if you're gonna go with a full loan on a new well, or,
We just need to look at all of our numbers. Again, from the facility report versus what Andy just projected today, because these numbers are all brand new numbers.
Right,
I
I don't know where
any
he's
of that
coming
came
from. If that's coming from Southern Black Hills Water directly or not.
well, see, I think another problem is that Southern Black Hills, if you can recall, when we had that presentation by them, they never did give us a final spreadsheet of what the costs really were ever really gonna be. They never provided that to us.
And you remember too, it was $3,000 for 1,000,000 gallons when we first started. And then it wasn't but a month or two later, it went to 4,000. And it was $3 per thousand after the 1,000,000 gallons per thousand, where it went to $4. So they jumped all of that after that aspect too, in that other presentation.
Well, I think unfortunately, unless we know for sure what Southern Black Hills Water is doing, how can we make any kind of decisions
Exactly.
until they give us,
Or what kind of support Custer County is going to approve.
right,
Because the commission is on board for the WRT system and
Correct.
supporting, your plan already. And Andy is projecting that they would support it, but you won't know that either,
Right.
100%.
So we will,
What is the amount of the raise of the water bill if we do this totally on our own and get the grant?
We don't get a grant.
Not the grant, the loan at the 1 point, whatever.
it was like
whatever.
54 or 59.
That's this one here, so it would be an add of that.
An addition of that, and that's with our drilling the new well.
Yep,
Is that the design of everything?
yep, that's your total cost, that's your new well there and Gumbo Lily.
Is that with the engineer's fees in there and everything?
Yes.
So that basically brings the water bill up to
That's it right
Eight.
now,
Right.
that would be it,
$72.45.
yeah.
For just the water, that does not include the sewer or the garbage, but the water alone.
Correct.
And if we go with Southern Hills, the way he was discussing it, it's above that yet, correct?
Well, he was saying it was gonna be
He would,
60
no,
bucks.
yeah,
He
And I don't-
wasn't saying that.
my pricing, based on a facility plan, they're over $70, and then after 5 years, it increases.
And they physically told us 5% was in their paperwork.
Yeah, but if you read this thing, it says CPI.
No,
But
Well,
then
this is-
Andy said it could go up to 5%, but that's a high year. So it fluctuates, you just don't know.
right,
Exactly.
right.
Right.
And that's why that first meeting when we discussed that with Andy and his face got that blank look when I brought the numbers out of what we
Right.
originally were told by Southern Black Hills Water. And it's just these numbers are all over. They have no accuracy. You're exactly right. They wouldn't give us anything in black and white. They wouldn't produce a spreadsheet through the whole aspect of it. So before any of us can do an educated thought on this whole system, we have to have numbers on a spreadsheet. We have these numbers, we know where we're at with our projects and where we're at, we just don't have Southern Black Hills Waters.
Right.
And whether we go to Talbot and ask him to please send us the sheet, or ask Andy Brule to send us his fact sheet of what he is producing these numbers off of, where is utility rate and all of that. When you supplied the numbers in your facility plan, it didn't line up to,
But that was based on what your last offer was from them. Who did the last offer come from? Do you have that letter right in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
Who did it come from though?
It came from Ted Wick, the chairman.
Because I think we would request it from them and then take that to Andy to make sure he's on the same page. Maybe, I don't know.
so that's what we'll do for our next meeting, is we will fact find the numbers, get the numbers from Southern Black Hills, and then we'll further discuss it. Okay?
Okay.
So who's gonna get those numbers from Southern Black Hills? Oops, excuse
I
me.
would like Aces too, if she would, please.
Okay.
I can request it,
Okay.
just so that it's just a clarification on what the current offer is for
Is that good
a
with the
bulk
board?
user rate.
Do you think they'll give it to you?
I think
Why
they
don't
have to
Yeah, I
now.
don't think.
They have to now. All the other times, they did not have them all on the page with them. Now, it has to be,
But considering you're gonna be a bulk user rate, that's a new,
Which they
Right.
didn't say
they didn't
before.
say that
no, not
before.
ever.
Okay,
However, they
Not in
were going to
15
come
years,
back
they
and
never
do
said that.
another proposal
Or 20
another
years, or
presentation.
however long. I remember this way back when we were going through this.
Okay.
So, to have that more information will help a lot.
Well, they were gonna come back and do another presentation and that didn't happen,
Okay.
so.
okay, I'll request the info.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to item B. That is something I was hoping Mitch would be here for.
He hasn't responded to me at all. He might be in court or something.
So we may have to wait on that until we get him, because he
Okay.
needs to be here on that.
Okay.
So we'll table that. Do I have a motion to table it
I'll
until
make it.
Hendrickson makes
I'll
that
second.
motion, Kramer seconds the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item C is Jill has a asset management and mapping presentation. Pretty exciting stuff.
Do you think the deputies need to stay?
Pardon?
Do you think the deputies need to stay?
No. I think they can be excused.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Here's the valves we're working on. Okay, well, I'm not very good at this, but I gotta do these speech class.
You'll be very good.
I went to, of course, Bernie was gonna do the mapping stuff with Chuck, and I was totally fine with that, because I didn't want to do it, but now that Bernie's gone, I did go to a class last week in here about the mapping and asset management, and I thought it was very interesting, and I definitely think we need to start working on it, because we do absolutely nothing here. We don't do any work orders on anything. We don't have a history of when our water breaks were, what anything is worked on, how old meters are, you know, if they're broken, if we have excess inventory to replace stuff, how much stuff's gonna cost when we need to replace it. So this is actually just starting from the beginning. That's all we can do, because we can start. They did come in and start our mapping stuff for us, so we do have maps of everything. You know, the distribution valves, Chuck and I are working on those, and I did actually print out on the new map. I added one up here that wasn't there, that Chuck said was there. And what I can do, if you go through this, on this page right here, is this valve, it's distribution valve 70, and then you can go in and put a bunch of notes in there and keep a history on every time you do something on that valve, what you do. You could take pictures of them and upload them on the bottom here. So the next person, so we can start to have a historical history of what's going on with our infrastructure, and we can plan for things that need to be fixed. You know, is it going to be more cost effective to fix them, or, you know, replace them?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm going to go, what we're going to do is go through, we got some information, but we're going to go through just every single day, and I'm just going to start adding in information as we go. And I would like to come up with some type of a, Chuck's probably going to hate me, but a work order system where when we go out and work on something, we have a spreadsheet of that. And I also talked to Ron Vanderpool and asked him if we can have a work invoice that attaches to that asset, and we can't. So I'll be able to go in and pick that asset, and it'll be in the work order, and we can keep a history of work orders and what gets done on that exact thing.
Yep,
Yeah.
or line, or,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And the reason for that is to keep track of everything, and so down the road when we do have funding to get, we can produce some information, historical information that, you know, we need, this needs to be replaced, you know, this needs to be fixed. So we haven't done anything yet, and I don't know, maybe Leah's got something to say about this.
No, I mean, it's a great thing for a community to have that kind of information and be able to look it up for
Yeah.
your, public works and for expansion or moving forward.
Yep, so I'd like to keep some maintenance records. We don't have anything on warranty status on anything. Do we have warranties on some of this stuff that we could instantly dig up and say, hey, we have a warranty on this meter, let's send it back and get a new one? I mean, there's just lots of, we're just missing everything. I mean, we don't have even files with work orders or anything. I mean, I know Chuck has it all in his book. I've heard that he's got books and books and books, but that doesn't do us any good when you just want to generate a report or pull some information on something. You know, and to have pictures of stuff that gets done. And what I would like to do is, because here's one from Ron, this is old, that I got from Chuck. I mean, that's kind of...
Ron Vanderpool or Ron Banks?
Ron Banks.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, here's just some kind of rough information drawn on there. That's what Chuck gave me that he's been using. And I'm sorry, I just think we can do better with this mapping system. I printed like all the distribution valves out. And this one's messed up because I wrote on it. But I went in here and visited with Chuck and he told me what all these valves do, what they do and which way they go and what size they are. So then I did put that information into our system. So we're going to slowly go through everything, and when I can get him tied down to a chair and ask him about this stuff and get the notes. But I certainly think we can start to do better than this, and to down the road, you know, try to get funding or show somebody something and have this in a presentation is just kind of, we need to update our stuff.
Yeah.
So, the thing that I would like to request is the what
That
is it
bad
called?
elf? Bad elf.
But yeah, I kept looking for that. I said, well, that can't be a real company,
know.
but I guess it is.
real.
It's the best company. It's called Bad Elf. But order the Bluetooth GPS. So there was like 3 choices. One was $650, one's $350, one's $250. When I talked to Ron, I think they recommended the one for $650.
And when she says Ron, she means Ron Vanderpool
Yeah.
from Midwest Assistance Program.
Yeah. And we would also like to request to get a Apple mini iPad so we can go around and instead of trying to, I know Bernie was all about doing it on his phone, but even if I'm gonna go out and do it, my eyes, I can't see stuff on my phone. They recommend just getting a mini iPad to go out there and gather information with. So I would like to request if we could possibly down the road purchase those 2 items. I know Gail, I looked at Best Buy because we still have a credit card with a balance of like $370 on it from when we got the computers. So I thought maybe we could use that for the iPad, so there wouldn't be a lot of cost in the iPad.
Yeah.
If that would be okay, I would like to move forward with this and start, I don't really know what I'm doing, but anything that I do is better than what we have right now. So, to move forward with just gathering information on all this stuff. We have no historical data anywhere to pull to come up with information for anybody. You know, to try to track where all the leaks are, how much does it cost to fix them every single time? Would we be smarter down the road? I mean, if we can track where they all are and what time frames they happen, you know, we can maybe choose to replace that instead of continually. I mean, we just got done having a giant water leak that, I mean, if we would have known how maybe old that was, and maybe it could have been looked at earlier instead of later. So yeah, that's my presentation.
And I think
Nice
the good
job.
thing when I talked to Jill, oh, go ahead, you had a question.
First
Nice
off,
question.
yep, thank you, Dan. First off, I'd like to know how many people were at the conference?
3.
From where?
We had someone from Custer County, and he ran the Boy Scout thing that they own up there, and he does the water. And he was interested in the mapping part of it because he doesn't know where absolutely anything is. They're just digging up stuff left and right, trying to find stuff. So he's interested in the mapping, having a history of, you know, whenever they fix something, whenever they put something new in, that just another new person could come in and just have that information. And the other person was from Rapid City, and he ran some, he just got hired a month ago to work on a water system. And he also did not know what he was doing, but was sent there to try to start doing the mapping, gathering historical information, so they can keep track of it.
Okay, so a town even the size of Rapid City
300
doesn't
here,
necessarily
plus
have all this
649.
information either.
The guy that I talked to was an instructor from the University of Mexico, this who taught the class. He says out there, and they go around, he works for the government, they do this all for free. Any help that I get from him, it's all gonna be for free. He says there are towns that have 500,000 people that they've gone to visit that haven't even started what I've started right now, trying to get it done.
For that, I'd like to say thank you. And
Okay.
I'd like to say that I feel a little better now knowing that we're not so far down the list.
No,
you know
we're
what I mean?
not, we're not.
That helps, because when you first said that, it was kind of scary, actually.
No, he said he's
So.
been to so many towns that are just a disaster, you know, because of, you know, people changing jobs, and he even voiced, they had someone that worked in a town, he'd been there for 30 years, and they came in to, you know, do all the mapping, you know, when they went out and did it in our town. They were gonna go out and do that, and this guy would not help them. He was the public works director, because he was afraid of his job. He didn't want them to get rid of him, and he goes, that's not what they were trying to do at all. They're just trying to get this all on paper and have it. And he actually refused to help and tell them. So the next year, when his contract came up, I guess they fired him, and then they started all over, so he lost his job anyway. So, but no.
Okay. Then my next, sorry. My next question is, do you have the time to do this?
I think I do. I think every day, if I just plug a little bit at it,
Okay.
it's not gonna, I mean, a lot of it is already done for us, what's been.
The big stuff.
And apparently, I don't know if you know about this, but your new design for what we just put in, apparently I can send him a map of that, and he said he would help me with this. And they do GPS tracking or whatever, and they can go ahead and lay what you did into our new mapping system.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I was thinking, oh my God, I gotta go out and draw that whole thing. Nope, I'll just
You're
get
gonna
something
send
from,
it to 'em.
yep, he goes, I'll help you with that, and so, and then just as we go along, I think we need to just have historical data on everything. You know, we don't know,
Yeah.
you know, Chuck's, oh, that's about 20 years old. Well, we don't know how old it is. It'd just be nice to have information. Yeah, it's not gonna happen overnight. I'll just plug away at it.
Exactly.
And then
Yeah.
I do think we need to keep track, we don't keep track of, like on a map, where all of our water leaks and how we fixed them and what we did and how much did we spend on that, getting that fixed.
Correct.
And I think we need to start keeping track of that too.
Would be wonderful.
The other thing I'd like to say is that I can remember when Bobby was the finance officer, and she actually was going to start doing a lot of this. And so that's where this comes in again, change of personnel, like you said. In Rapid City, they had change of personnel and don't know. And so, and we have had a lot of changes of personnel, and I hope you're in for the long haul, and you're in for the long haul, and we can get this all very well put together, not back together, but put together.
Put together, yeah.
Yes.
And then I just won't leave with it in my head, or Chuck, we'll have it all here on paper,
That would be nice.
in software where we can look at it.
The records are there. I mean, I've looked at Chuck's book, and you can go back to whatever day and say, okay, we have fixed the pipe down in front of, on Viola Street at the phone guy who used to work at the
Oh,
phone
Doug's.
company. Doug's house, that was a big leak, and I mean, I know that's in his
He
paperwork.
does have it in there, and it's great,
So-
but it's
But the
not,
town needs to have it in there.
the town, yeah.
And
It's not
accessible.
part
accessible
of this
to the town.
issue, in my
I mean, if
opinion,
his truck starts on fire or wherever he keeps them
Or
on,
the
then
wind
they're
blows.
gone.
right, part of this happens to be
Take
the
the
fact
window.
that our water person is a contractor rather than a town employee. And that is part of where, if it was a town employee, I think things would, I mean, it's just easier to keep track. But do I think we need to, even with contractor? Yes, I do. I think it's an awesome, I think it sounds really good.
Okay.
Me,
Well,
I think that. Sorry, Mel, I interrupted your
Oh,
question.
no, no, we didn't at all. I just was gonna say that, one of the things that Jill had said when she came back from the meeting, all fired up, by the way, that,
Which we like.
yeah, that they said that one of the things that they said was you can get more grant opportunities when you have historical information backed up and rather than just sitting in a logbook or in somebody's head. And
Yeah,
That we have more
need-
opportunities.
We want and we need this. Will show us on paper, you know, give us some data where you want or need this. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, and just for an example, I think that Chuck had a meter that went down to, a new meter just a couple weeks ago that we don't even know which meter it was, and it was, I think it was a new meter, and so we don't have any of that. We just don't have a
Recorded.
doc, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, start recording when we put a new meter in it, what's the date, and then we'll know how old it is and
Who has it?
who has it. Chuck had mentioned one time, do we keep track of the street lights, like when we replace the bulbs and everything?
No.
And I said, no, but I said, I can put those street lights in this map, GPS them, and then go down and put all the information every time they come out. You know, what they did and what they replaced and how much it cost.
Yeah, a number of them.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was a great deal, and when she come back and we talked that morning, that is a good thing, you know, city you walk in on a repair, anybody can walk in that's licensed, pull out a sheet, boom, here's where the connections are, this is what the tap is, this is where the line runs, this, everything's there, you know, and so with this mapping, we spend a lot of time on it, but the nice thing is, like Jill said, free.
Yeah, there's a
All of
lot
that.
of resources that I can get help. That's why I feel confident to do it, because that Ron Vanderpool, he is just the nicest. I've called him a couple times, and I'm sure I probably sound pretty stupid, but he's just always so nice. And the new guy that I just took the class from, they're there to help. So I think we need to, start doing something.
So I'd like to support it, keep it going forward, make a motion where it's roughly $850 with the usage of the $300 on the credit card to pick up the GPS and pick up everything we need for the tablet and put this together where she can go forward, and that's my motion.
Second.
Second by
I have
Hendrickson.
a question.
Yep.
How big is the mini iPad, and is it big enough?
It is I think it's just 8 inches, and he wrote me not to get too big of a one. He goes, that's the size that we like out in the field because you don't want it to be too big.
Okay.
So he said they also bought an OtterBox to put around there just to protect it.
You need that.
But, so maybe I'll look and see how much those cost. I don't think that'd be horrible, but
And apply that.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just you don't want to be out there with the stomping around with the big laptop or
Well, no,
anything.
yeah.
You just want, but I don't want to use my phone either, and
You
I
shouldn't.
have an Android phone, and I don't even know if mine is.
You shouldn't use
I mean, I don't
it.
have a flip phone like Dan, but I don't know how up to date or modern my phone is right now. We know we won't be sending Dan out.
I'll be beside you. So I'll amend it on that motion to allow for cords, attachments, or protective coverings for
Okay.
what you get also if needed to be. Is that good with you, Vicki?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll vote on the amendment first. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Motion now, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carried. And I think it'll be very helpful with anything that we get from like RCS we talked about. Any of that update and stuff can all be put towards this. And we need to redo our maps, and we're aware of that. And this is also gonna be part of that, and working with ACES on whatever needs to be also will be helpful for them and us both. So we appreciate that. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep up the good work. We appreciate it. It's gonna be exciting.
Thanks, Joe.
I would like to say one more thing, please.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
mouthy today, aren't I? No, I think that, you know, the discussion in this town many times over has been about going to conferences. And, yes, they do cost a little bit of money, but this is a perfect example of how important they are. Perfect example. You came back excited, you came back with knowledge, you have somebody to help you. I mean, it's
Resources that
Resources,
I can go
yes.
dig and look and-
yeah, absolutely awesome. So thank you again.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the metering technology.
Yeah, and just a minute, I need to get my sticky over here. So this kind of continues on with Jill's discussion. This board has discussed for many, many years, it sounds like, going into electronic meter reading. So that, like we were saying one day, that we were finding out that you can punch a button and you can immediately see how much water's been used to compare that with the master meter reading. So metering and technology really wants to come out and give a presentation to the board with numbers, with just to have your one-on-one presentation with him. His name is Farrell Anderson. And we were thinking that, I was talking to Dan about it, and I thought that what we should do, rather than have a regular board meeting, we would put it into a work session. And so that we could really get some, because you know, the numbers have been all over the page on it, and I don't know, even it could have gone up by now, which is probably
Par
probable.
for the course.
Mm-hmm. Right. So we were wondering if we were thinking about having a work session on, and he's available the 13th, 14th, and 15th, or the 20th, 21st, and 22nd of June. And
The 20 what?
it would be the 13th, 14th, or 15th, or the 20th, 21st, and 22nd of June. That's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of each week.
14th will be,
Planning and zoning.
yeah. So the 13th or the 15th are definitely the 2 days. So everybody, what,
20th, no, not even the 20th. 21st or 22nd work best for me, but
21st is a board meeting.
Yep.
We don't want to do it with this.
no,
okay, 22nd. But that's just me. So.
I'll make anything work. What about you, Vicki?
I don't know. Hang on a second.
Terry?
I think that'll be fine as far as I know right now.
So possibly
Yeah,
do
as far as I
the
know, Any
22nd?
of them is fine.
22nd will be okay?
I think so.
At what
Or-
time?
Was it the 22nd? Yeah. 'cause
It
the
would be
23rd
a
is
6
that
o'clock meeting.
6 p.m.?
Mhm.
6 p.m.
And
Okay.
want planning and zoning in there?
Oh, yeah, I think it would be good if they attend it too.
Is
And
it,
then if we have anything else that comes up that we gotta deal with, I mean, we're just gonna be having a meeting already, so I don't know that there will be, but if anything develops,
so you said June 22nd, right?
yep,
And is that a paid meeting?
yep.
And did he give you any idea, without questioning or whatever, how long the presentation would be from him?
No, I didn't.
No.
Mm-mm. I guess I didn't ask that
Well,
question.
it'll depend a lot on our questions, but
Mhm.
he can have a estimate anyway.
Good, okay. That's it.
What was the last dollar figure that we had on that?
I've never seen a dollar figure. I've just heard $46,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what Bernie quoted.
yep, Bernie checked it all out and said 46,000. But we believe that this is a possible grant possibility? Is this what you had said?
That's what we want to look into with the ARPA funds, because you'd mentioned there was some funding out there for it.
Well, that's what they've been supporting. It's because it's better to track like water leaks and things on your system. So they want to see the automated meter reading.
So we'll look at that too. And also, we want to be reminded, which next meeting, just a quick touch on, that ACES is going to be starting to put the numbers together for that 6-inch booster and what we're going to do on all them portions of it, along with this being on that for ARPA also with the funding, because they still will have money for the second round after that. So we can review all of that.
And he may even have some ideas of where to get some funding as well.
So a motion to set that meeting up for June 22nd at 6 PM for meter technology.
I'll make the motion.
Kramer makes it, Hendrickson seconds it, all in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Can I comment further on that, please?
Yeah,
So, in the past, we have looked at this before. And like you said, $46,000 is a lot of money when you consider that it costs the town right now for me to do it $200 a month. So it takes a long time to come up with that $46,000. However, that being said, having all the information readily available, the click of a button is awesome. Not to mention the fact that nowadays in particular, people are not liking me walking into their yards to read their meters. And came across one citizen and that I had sworn had seen me do it before and had been told that I was there always on somewhere around the 20th of the month and was very angry. What are you doing in my place? And so for me, being the meter reader, it's scary too in these times. Not to say I'm not going to do it, not to say I'm going to quit. I'm just saying that that money, there's a reason for that it would be good, and for God's sake, I hope we can get a grant for it, but it was scary. Not to mention the fact also is rattlesnakes, and I have encountered that problem also. So, and no, I'm not planning on quitting anytime soon. Your meters will be read, folks. So.
okay, we'll go into trustee items from citizens before we go into executive session. We've got one item to be legal discussed. Yes, sir. You had your hand up.
Yes, that was a question. It wasn't going to be my items from the citizens, but you mentioned earlier about Leo was going to start doing the numbers. The pressure booster station. And are those numbers there going to be figured into what the cost for running the whole city stuff? Because the way I understand it, if you go with the rural water, they have 178 PSI of pressure that would be at the Dollar General. Therefore, we would have to have pressure reducing valves and not a multi-$100,000 booster station.
Correct.
I was just wondering if those numbers were going to be figured in when you go back to the state for the 23rd.
Yeah, that's why we're starting, so we can figure it. Thank you. Anybody else?
I just got a question on the meeting that for the 23rd of June.
22nd.
22nd of June with the DANR again. What day are you guys planning on having the public meeting that they were talking about? That you should have a public meeting before the,
He said it could be after.
No,
it could be what?
After. So the public meeting could be after.
Okay,
Not that it
So
can't
we
be
won't know.
before, but it could also be after.
I mean,
So-
would the public have a chance to voice their opinion on which water system they would rather go with, or do they not have a say-so?
Nope, the night we have that meeting, we'll have discussion about it, so,
beforehand.
correct.
So
Well, we'll have that night of the meeting. when we decide, when we get numbers, when we're looking through it. Anybody,
I think we're talking about two different
Different
meetings.
things. I think so too.
The meeting that Connie's talking about is the Board of Natural Resources meeting on the 23rd.
right.
We said the 22nd, but that's because that's what I thought you were talking about. But Connie's
I was
talking
talking
about the
about
Board of
23rd.
Natural
Before
Resources.
the 23rd.
So,
During the Zoom meeting, that's what he said, that
Mhm.
you should have a public meeting before, I thought he said before the 23rd.
No, we just have to have our meeting to give them direction of what we plan on doing after we get numbers.
After we get our information and we discuss it, it'll be discussed in a regular board meeting, it'll be, you know, another agenda item for engineering. And we will discuss it, and then the board will have to make its decision. So within the public meeting, and then we have to get our information to them before the 23rd, so that they can look at it and they can discuss it at their meeting on the 23rd.
So the
I wrote it
public
down
has
wrong.
no say
The
so
public,
which way it really is gonna go.
well,
They'll have
your
say.
information, your questions, your comments will be available at all of the meetings, our normal meetings and any special meetings we have on this effect, that you are welcome to come to and have your items to the citizens and your questions at that time.
Okay.
It has to be done before the 23rd. They have to have our written paperwork before that time.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? Yes.
This will probably be longer than your 3-minute limit. I don't know where to put this.
Over here, Dad, you can set it right over here. Looks good. Here.
A year ago this month, we had a reverse osmosis system installed in our home. The filters were changed Saturday because it's been 1 year. And I got a presentation.
Deb, is this a whole house or just under the kitchen faucet or somewhere else?
It's in our kitchen faucet.
Okay, thank you.
The water goes through 5 filters before we drink it. And when this was put in 1 year ago, it was white. This is what our drinking water looks like now, after it's gone through 5 filters. And we're told it's safe to drink. I'm not drinking it if it isn't filtered, because I don't know what I'm drinking. This is silt and whatever, God knows whatever else is coming through this filter. From our tap water, and I just want you all to see it because we've been told it's safe to drink.
Right.
I'm not drinking it. So,
Thank you.
sorry, Harry.
Mine is white.
These other two, I don't want to lay it on the table, but these were silver when they were put in. And they're wet, that's why I'm trying to be careful.
Oh.
And then this, oops, says chlorine taste and odor reduction. So I just wanted you guys to be aware of what our safe to drink water looks like.
Well,
Okay.
You have a question?
So if we supposedly got this 10-year Great Drinking Water Award, how does that happen?
There's a lot of conditions that also go into these, as what we've had in a lot of other places. Your water pipes can also be in effect inside your house from all the years of corrosion. You know, the limits of what we have on our water report that comes out is everything, we meet all the tests and standards of the state as it's coming directly out of the well. That doesn't take into effect if you have pipes within your home too. Now everything that's went to PEX pipe, well, that's the reasoning, because you've got galvanized lines, copper, brass, that have a corrosion level that also let deposits go through, so there's an effect of a lot that is in it. And not to say, you know, coming through the lines, they aren't testing every individual spot. He tests in different areas at times, but they still meet the standards, so.
Can I insert something? The individual that changed out these filters said in all the years he's done it, he's never seen a filter that was that bad.
We appreciate it, yep, and then we're gonna go into executive so we can get done. No, sir, we're gonna move on. Kramer, you had one more question and then we're going into executive.
Deb, I know that in many cities I've been in, this, people have the same issue that have those water filters. And I know.
Another person asked 2 questions and not me.
I can't stand it. I just can't stand it.
Sir, can we bring it back to order, please, while she's talking?
So, what I can tell you is that there are systems you can put in your house that's a total distilled water system. The very cleanest water you can ever get is distilled water. But it has no taste, no flavor, no enzymes, no minerals, no nothing that is even good for you. The reverse osmosis is a very good system, and we have had it too, and it does take out all that stuff, and I know they say that it is yucky. I agree with you. It looks yucky. I certainly wouldn't take a bite out of that. So you kind of wonder why you drink the water. But it's common, and if you were in Rapid City, or I don't care where, you're going to have some discoloration in those filters anywhere you are, unless you have a complete distilled water system in your home. And what is being said about safe drinking water, I'll say this to that. It's safe by government standards right now. And we all know those change from year to year, every 5 years, however, it changes from knowledge that doctors and researchers and water people all learn from the past. And it is yucky. I agree with you.
Do you have one in your home?
Yes.
Or your
Have had, first off, I put a whole home water filter coming into the house. And then if you have a water softener, your water softener takes out quite a bit of it also. And then if you have under your drinking water, the better one, then the drinking water comes out cleaner. I go so far as to have one in the water that I shower in also. So I have 4.
Okay, so question,
Mhm.
or I guess more of a statement. There is distilled water, there's nothing in it, so basically, why do you drink it? I don't drink it.
I don't drink it either unless I have to. But that's what I'm telling you. It's the purest or cleanest or whatever.
Soft water for intake is not good for you because it's got sodium in it.
Correct.
Okay.
But for your pipes and your body, as long as you're, let me say this. So on your water softener, the recommended amount of salt you use, I don't use near that much. I have mine set at a way lower rate. For that reason, Deb.
Thank you. Anything further?
Nothing further.
Something on the water, sir?
No, sir, what it was on is that I had my hand up and raised before you call citizens input, That's what I wanted to talk about then. You never answered me then until asked for citizen input. I have citizen input to put in, other than the question that I had earlier.
No, we gave citizen input, and that's where the question was addressed, sir, so.
I had my
Motion to
hand
go
up
into
before.
executive session, please. Being at 3:28.
You guys can address it.
I'll make the motion. Do I have a second? Second by Schumach. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Nay.
Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for attending.
I got to see how you operate
Leah,
that.
and please bring it back to order, sir.
Was it involving engineering executive?
Yep, we had a drop.
That's right, you guys are doing executive session.
Yep.
We're not quite there,
We'll
but
talk to you in just a second. I'll talk to you first.
Thank you, and if you two want to be excused, you may go.
Okay.
is the tape recorder up? Thank you.
Okay. So we made a motion to come out of executive session at 4 o'clock. Hendrickson made the motion, Schumach seconded the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. There was no motions in executive session. No decisions need to be made. At that time, is there any trustee input? Schumach,
Good meeting, informative.
Hendrickson,
Informative.
Kramer?
The information
I wanna-
was well deserved.
I want to thank everybody for taking the time today to be here for this. It's very important. We need to do some soul searching on this and look at the numbers and put it together in a good format for the community and make the decision within ourselves to do that. So, motion to adjourn at 4:01.
I'll make that.
Hendrickson makes it.
Second.
Schumach seconds it. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We can now unlock the door and the girls can get herded